I'm Gil Ponce, and let's queer up students and youth culture. House Republicans push nationwide Don't Say Gay bill. House Republicans are advancing a sweeping education proposal, which critics say mirrors state-level Don't Say Gay laws like the one in Florida, which restrict classroom discussions on sexual orientation and gender identity. HB 2616, or Protect Kids Act, was introduced by Tim Walberg and co-sponsored by Burgess Owens, Mary Miller, Robert Audner, and Kevin Kiley. The bill would require federally funded public elementary and middle schools to obtain parental consent before recognizing any change in a student's gender expression. Discussed during a House Rules Committee hearing on Tuesday, the proposal applies to schools receiving funding under the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. It mandates parental approval before updating gender markers, pronouns, or preferred name, or allowing access to facilities aligned with a student's gender identity. A related measure, HB 2617, would bar federal funds from supporting gender ideology. There is also a bill making its way through the Senate with the same text. David Stacey of the Human Rights Campaign said, despite many pressing issues facing our nation, House Republicans continue their bizarre obsession with trans people, and I think that quote says it best. We are looking at an affordability crisis, a healthcare crisis. We're looking at a burgeoning war in Iran, instability in the Middle East, and we are right now talking about trans students using bathrooms, or gender assignment, or general policy regarding... I'm sorry, but if I'm looking at this as an average everyday American who's literally having to make choices about paying either for your health care or for your food, this isn't on the top of our minds. At the end of the day, the Congresswoman from Illinois, Mary Miller, Kevin Kiley, who's the independent from California, who only changed parties because otherwise he's going to lose his congressional seat in November. Hell, he's going to still lose his congressional seat anyway. But at the end of the day, they want to do smoke and mirrors because Republicans don't want to focus on the fact that they are not focusing on the issues the American people want to focus on right now. And I think David Jolly, who's one of our gubernatorial candidates on the Democratic Party, says it best. Americans are sick and tired of culture war issues. I don't know about you. I'm sick to death of it. And I'm somebody I'm actively participatory in our electoral process. I work in the political sphere. I'm sick to death of culture wars. I want to get back to focusing on making sure kids get a good public education. And that isn't by focusing on what we call them in the classroom. It's about making sure that kids can do reading and writing at grade level. It's about getting back to fundamental basics, making sure that we have good civic instruction in our schools, to make sure our kids know about civic society so that way they can go out into our society and clean up the mess that our generations are creating right now.
Well, it feels to me like they're taking Don't Say Gay on tour.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, you know. I want to go back to Trini because, I mean, he's been a teacher for over 2 decades. I mean, what kind of sexual conversations are happening in elementary school? Can you please tell me that?
This is what I've been trying to tell. This is what, you know, I go on all those conservative sites. Every time they start talking about this, and I say, ask a teacher. You must know a teacher in your life, at your church somewhere, and ask them how much sex education is going on about transgendered people or about sexuality, and they will tell you 0. Yeah. It doesn't happen. We're all struggling just with state testing and with all the issues we have with food insecurity with kids and autism and all of this stuff in our classrooms. We do not talk about those things, and we actively avoid talking about anything sexual with students in any way. Yeah. Okay, so that is not happening. It's what happens is when there's one case in one state somewhere where one teacher does it, and then they put it on Fox News and run it, and they realize when they're losing in the polls, just keep with whatever cultural war issue is going to make people tune into it. So people think, conservatives who watch Fox News think that teachers are bringing drag queens into schools. It's not happening, and they're trying to essentially solve a problem, give a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. Yeah. And they feel like if they just keep saying it over and over and say the word trans enough times, that when people actually are, they think that this is happening, you know? So it's a non-issue, and I am hoping that the American public is hip to this. As much as Donald Trump has been doing all of this smoke and mirrors, that I'm hoping a year and a half into this administration, we realize every time they start to say trans, every time they start to say gay, it's because they're not doing the things that they're supposed to be delivering on, and it's just a polling tactic.
What's creepy is what it is. It's creepy, this obsession that Republicans seem to have with trans people. They're 0.2% of the population. 0.2% of the population.
Not even 1%.
But they are getting this inordinate amount of attention from people who don't know a trans person, who just have these stereotypes from 1967 Pride Parade films that they've seen. And these bills are not to protect students. They're to enrage parents. You enrage parents. What do enraged parents do? Well, they donate to their political candidates so that they can protect their children. Enraged parents will give more money to their church so that they can stand up and God will save them from the evil trans persons coming in. That's what these bills are for.
Yeah.
It's money. The answer is always money.
If I could add one more thing,
Please,
too,
Freddie.
is that on the local levels, they already take care of these things. These school boards, the individual school, the school boards, the state level, like they have provisions in place if there is something going on that they need to alert the parents about. And as I was saying before, the school counselors, they deal with this and they make these determinations. To make it at the national level is crazy because every area is different. If you are looking at a school district in Greenwich Village, you may have a larger percentage of children having
gay parents.
Exactly.
Yes.
To which maybe certain lessons would need to be introduced when you have so many kids with two mommies and two dads, And that's for those areas and those school boards and elected and appointed people in those positions should be handling it. It shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all from the national level.
Well, there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.